accountant Kwame Owusu's tenure at the Ghana Maritime Authority has come under the spotlight. There's pressure from the appointing authority to fire him. We'll tell you why, and we'll discuss all that has come up in the past week with regards to the Ghana Maritime Authority saga. And there's been some interesting developments in Ghana's tertiary education space. KNUST is still closed. We don't know if the governing council has still been reconstituted or has been reconstituted for students to go back. But a trek down from Kumasi to Winneba also shows that all is not well at the University of Education, Winneba. In the course of the week, a Supreme Court verdict was delivered overturning or questioning a decision by the Winneba High Court. All that and more is live on press conference tonight. The show is live and interactive via the WhatsApp line 0549986996. On Twitter, the hashtag is press conference. You can join us via the Facebook stream at Citi TV GH and drop your comments and we would read it. Press conference is on. We'll take a break and I'll be back to introduce my guests and we'll delve into the discussions. Don't go away. You're welcome back to press conference on Citi TV. Joining me to do the discussions to my immediate left is award-winning journalist and host of GH Today on GH1, Ridwan, Karim, Dini, Osman. You're welcome, Ridwan.
Thank you.
Next to him is producer of the award-winning Eyewitness News on Citi FM. He's a legal mind. He's also the producer of this show. And today he's a panelist. Ullo, Sixtus, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you, Duke.
And next to him he's coming from the stables of the state broadcaster. He is the host of the Breakfast Drive on Uniq FM. And he is seasoned journalist. Very good. That I remember seeing for the first time in 2012 when the unfortunate incident of Professor Mills passed. That was the first time I actually saw him. So Cecil Wentum is also on press conference tonight. But let me state that whatever he says will be his own views and not that of the platform that he represents. So you're welcome, Cecil.
Thank you, bro.
So let's set the issues into perspective, especially with regards to the RTI bill. Parliament resumed on Tuesday. Now, members of the RTI coalition, of which all of us on this platform are, probably with the exception of Ridwan, stormed Parliament. Let's see what happened.
Members of the Media Coalition on RTI, a group championing the passage of the Right to Information Bill, were today thrown out of Parliament when they attempted to enter the House to observe proceedings. The group expressed shock at the turn of events, explaining that they had earlier communicated their intentions to the Public Relations Department of Parliament. The convener of the group, Gilbert Boyfield, believes what transpired is a deliberate ploy by government to frustrate their efforts at forcing Parliament to pass the Right to Information Bill into law.
They said we should remove the T-shirt and leave it outside before they will allow us to go inside. We cannot even put the T-shirt in our bag. I mean, so far as they are concerned, the T-shirt symbolize demonstration. And so they will not allow us to go inside wearing that T-shirt or even having the T-shirt in our bag.
The Majority Chief Whip, Kwasi Ameyaw-Treme, says Parliament will not be pressured by any group to rush in passing the bill.
You can't just get up and say that we are a group of people, we have printed T-shirts, we want to sort of quote and unquote coerce or force Parliament into passing a particular bill.
Sunyani East Member of Parliament, Kwasi Ameyaw-Treme, who is Majority Chief Whip, ending that report by Nashika Caesar. Let's begin the conversation. I start with you, Cecil. Cecil is one of the spokespersons of the ITI coalition, that's the media coalition for the passage of the ITI. Yeah. People say that this has been in the offing for quite a long time.
Yeah.
How much of a game changer would RTI be in the governance of this country?
Thank you so much, my brother. Let me just put this in perspective. I have been around for 22 years working in the media space. And 20 years of my working life, I have heard and I have read documents about RTI. And I ask myself that, how come all this while we have not succeeded in getting a law that will empower me, the citizen, or my brother, my sister, or my grandmother, the market woman, to make demands for information that will, at the end of the day, help all of us as citizens. And I don't get answers, but I know the volume of work civil society groups have done. I know the volume of work that has gone into this bill. You mentioned that it started in the 90s.
Yes.
All of us can cast our minds back to the early 90s when IEA led that crusade to get the bill. And it's gone through reviews in 2002, 2003, 2004, 2005, 2007, until 2010 when it was laid in Parliament. But you see, I have realized that the politician is a very crafty person, male or female. The politician is the type, depending on where he or she finds himself, either in opposition or in power, they change their language. So from where I see it and what I have observed, I have noticed that it's a deliberate attempt to just keep us away.
We've heard some MPs say that in its current form, it doesn't hold much, especially for journalists. So there should be some time. Exactly. I mean, we've heard the views of the likes of Sam Joy, the likes of Kitty.
Exactly. I have heard conversations in that direction that we should rather strengthen our archiving systems, and that will rather give us. But look, let me tell you, you can have a very strong archiving system. If you still demand information, it depends on who gives it to you. They can use their discretionary, authority to decide that they will deny you information. That is not what we want. We want a law. Let the law be there, so that if I am denied information, I will use the law courts to demand. You understand?
Yes.
That is the thing. But when I hear conversation around, when we go ahead and we give them the power, journalists are going to use this as a gold mine and we become the gold nuggets, which means that the politicians or the parliamentarians will become gold nuggets and we mine them. It is false. It's a lie. It's something that we need to tell the politicians or the parliamentarians that it is not the truth. Because there are research students in our universities who go for data to help them write their research reports.
Yes,
and sometimes they are denied information. Market women can move to their district assemblies and even demand information about contracts that have been awarded. They can be denied. But if there is a law in place, you can imagine. Look, I have cited this example on a number of platforms I've spoken on, and I say that, look, former President Rawlings' house got burnt, right? Who knows today the cause of fire? We have had several market fires. Who knows the cause of fire as we speak? We don't know. The taxpayers' money was used to bring in experts from Israel, from America, for us to establish the cause of fires prior to the elections.
Yes.
As we speak, nobody knows the report. We don't know. We're told it's a classified document. It's a security document. I can go on and on and on and on. And so if you ask me about the benefits, I tell you that it is not me, the journalist, who is going to benefit from a passage of a bill into a law, but rather the citizenry. And we as journalists must rather empower the citizens to appreciate what we are doing. They should join us so that we demand for the passage of the law.
Is it about the haste to get it done or quality?
We're waited for close to 2 decades.
Or a quality bill that will stand the test of time.
I have heard arguments about the problematic clauses. There are about 9 of them that have been identified. And I know the parliamentarians are working on it. As I speak to you, they got to clause 16, if my memory serves me right, or my checks in parliament, and they had to defer, that clause. But what is it about? Protecting parliament from what? Isn't it a public institution?
Well, listening into the consideration stage, there are people who did. It's divided. That right now it has had to be stood down for further consultations. Let me come to Sixtus. Sixtus, you've fairly read the law. This is seeking an amplification to Article 21(1)(f), which guarantees citizens' right to information. As it is now, don't we have that? We've had rulings, one secured by Occupy Ghana and the rest, which sort of sets out how citizens can gain information. What more would the RTI add to it?
From the very outset of this whole discussion, we've always maintained, when I say we, I count myself as part of the advocacy, we've always maintained that it is very basic that the Constitution already guarantees each and every individual the right to that access to information. Now, as to what kind of information you are entitled to, as to how that information should come to you, as to when that information should come to you, as to who is responsible for giving you that information, those are the details that will be set out in the law. Now, the fact that we still don't have an RTI law in place does not mean we don't have the right to the information. And that's very basic, that all the lawmakers who are already against this bill should know, if they don't already know. So the Constitution guarantees it, full stop. No two ways about it. But how do we go about it? That is what the law seeks to address. So we can go into the law, the bill as it is now, and look at some of the provisions. For instance, let's take the fears of the Honorable K.T. Hammond, who says he's petrified. Why?
There will be no state secrets.
Exactly. And he mentions a particular clause. He mentions, I think, 17.
Clause 17. The deadly clause 17.
The deadly clause 17.
Anyway, I don't see anything deadly about it.
Well, but he's petrified by that particular clause. What does the clause say? It simply is talking about what the subject of I'm a citizen, I want information. On what grounds should the information be withheld from me? No, withheld from me. Yes. Simple. That is it. It's nothing scary. It's nothing that should make any member of parliament or any citizen for that matter, so anxious or agitated over the entire bill. If you go through the bill, clause by clause, we are told how a citizen can access the information. If I want information from the Ministry of Defense, for instance, who do I write to? Within what timelines?
What should I pay?
What fees am I supposed to pay? What receipt? If I am denied that particular information, how do I go about appealing that particular denial or refusal of the information? These are the steps or the procedures laid down in the bill. And there should be nothing at all worrying about that. So if you go through clause, I think 14 to 16, thereabout, it talks about the kinds of information that can be exempt. So if a lawmaker comes to tell you that nothing whatsoever, would be held in secret once the bill is passed, then the lawmaker, I'm sorry, is not even aware of the bill in itself. So maybe we should start asking our lawmakers whether indeed they have gone through the bill, irrespective of the number of years it's been in the House, whether they've gone through it, whether they understand what is contained in there, because it addresses all the concerns that have come up.
For this Parliament, for instance, I know of consultations that have also been done. I mean, especially with regards to the Communications Committee of Parliament, the Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee. Now, Ridwan, what do you think about all of this?
Well, I think clearly there is no commitment to pass the RTI. It is very obvious. And I also think that we are not seeing the push in terms of one accord. The push is intermittent. So maybe once a while it dawns on us that, okay, there is a bill that is so crucial to our job, we need to get it passed. Then we stand up and say that we need to get Parliament to do it. It is not consistent. And I also think that civil society largely has a crucial role to play. And when I talk about civil society, I'm talking about the Center for Democratic Development. I'm talking about the Ghana Integrity Initiative. And I'm particularly surprised since this administration came in, the posturing of the Ghana Integrity Initiative, for me, leaves a lot more to be desired. I saw the Ghana Integrity Initiative during the S.Y. Mahama administration. They were very vociferous on every single issue.
Well, let me say I was left with just like 4 clauses before that Parliament ended. But I mean, on the last, they were even expecting it to be passed. Then Parliament went to
Exactly. And so I was expecting that now that we seem to be making a headway in terms of the pressure we are piling on the legislature, you would expect that the civil societies or the civil society organizations will add their voice to the media coalition. We are not getting that. Another issue which Sixtus raised, that some members are supposed to abreast themselves of the current state of the bill. It is not just members of parliament. Journalists would also have to understand the current state of the bill. We seem to be talking about RT. Of course, you have the support of every journalist, because a lot of us have been made to understand that it is crucial to our work.
Yeah.
But what do we know about the bill? What is contained in the bill? Trust me, if you line up journalists and you want to query them on the state of the bill, a lot of them will be found wanting. So I think that in as much as we want to get things done, we want to get it passed, we also have to ensure that we understand exactly what we are pushing to be passed. And I tend to agree with some of the members of parliament who think that we need to hasten slowly. You know, we don't have to keep pushing. It had to be passed when we know that, you know, there are a lot of gray areas in the bill. And trust me, a lot of journalists don't even know the problems with the current bill. Usually we attend fora where the parliamentarians themselves will come and say that in the current state of the bill, it can't be passed because we have issues with this, we have issues with that. We need a lot more time for it to be done. After those fora, then it will take another long time before the issue will come up again. I think we need to dedicate a lot of time to correct all those gray areas that we have identified. When that is done, then we can continue to push for it to be done. Because trust me, I know countries, and I'm not going to go for, let's just look at Nigeria.
Yes,
they have it.
Last year, yeah.
But there are I have a lot of Nigerian journalists as friends. And I can tell you the challenges they go through in accessing information to
even after getting the
RTI. So it's also about the quality of the bill, you know. So I think that we don't need to move attention from the quality. We need to focus on that in as much as we want to push for the bill to be passed. So those are my
Duke, I'm sorry, let me quickly come in here. Number one, the bill will not just benefit journalists. Yeah. We have to get that straight. I think Cecil tried making that point.
Yes.
Look, even the politicians themselves, I put that question to the Honorable Katie Amon. When you are in opposition, there's certain kinds of information that you need to function as a member of parliament, that if you don't have friends within the government, you won't get that information. But if we had a law in place, such a politician could also just go through the normal channels and then access that particular piece of information. We talked about Occupy Ghana. You mentioned it. Yes. The judgment they obtained. They didn't have to go to court to get the information they wanted if we had such a law. Yes, we know that we might never even ever get a perfect bill before we pass it. It never happens anywhere. And we all know that. Are you telling me that the 2-3 weeks within which the Office of the Special Prosecutor Bill was passed, we got a perfect bill?
Sixtus, it was beyond that.
No, it's just...
I think we are comparing apples with oranges. I think we are comparing apples with oranges.
Because remember it came,
if this bill
it was taken away and brought back.
Yes. Parliament, successive parliaments have amended various clauses within this particular bill. I mean, how perfect do we want it to be? And until we start the implementation, we are never ever going to be able to correct some of the ills with it. No.
Okay. That's true. That's a fair point.
I'll make some quick inputs in addition to what Sixtus has said. And to emphasize the point that this bill is not only going to benefit journalists. I have said it, he has said it. And if you talk about the work of civil society groups, you mentioned CDD, I can tell you that GII, a lot of them have done a lot of work. This bill got to Parliament, 5th Parliament. We didn't see it passed into law. 6th Parliament, we're in 7th Parliament. And the way, the games are being played, we have just realized that, look, it is something they all enjoy doing. And, moving, forward to even talk about what the others have done, I think that some of them have given up. That's what I see, the civil society groups.
But there's a specific commitment from this government. It was in their manifesto.
Exactly.
That they were sure
got the promise. But we have
this was in their manifesto.
It's a message to give to all of us. We heard His Excellency, the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, promised us, but he's not a parliamentarian. Don't forget. He's the president.
You know how things are done in executive. The executive things done in parliament.
Yeah, but then the guys in parliament must be seen doing some work, and that's all we're talking about.
Okay, so they've given us a tentative, and I mean when I say us, I'm talking about the media coalition in general. It's a tentative date of November 15th. November 15th is when the budget is going to be read by the exchequer.
You'll be disappointed.
But at least, and I've heard the Deputy Attorney General Joseph Kwemka say that if they don't even meet it by the 15th, by the end of this session,
if we don't,
so at least the promise ipso facto is by the end of the year, by the time this meeting ends.
how many more clauses are there to be considered?
Duke,
What
take
day
it from
is
me.
today?
Mark today's date.
How many more days to the 15th deadline?
Even before the end of the year, it won't happen.
There are 7 sitting days. There are 7 sitting days.
Yes.
So next 4 days.
I
Next year,
am
then
taking
3 days.
encouragement from the majority leader because I listened to him. I was on the same network, on our network, Radio Ghana, when he spoke, and I spoke after he did. He said November 15. So we're marking, that's the clock we're working with. And if we have to ask for extended seatings, I think we must make demands. Because we have had situations in the past where Parliament has sat into midnight to pass laws.
Loans.
Well, I was having silent on that, but I am happy the way you brought it out. To pass laws into loans.
Yeah.
So we watched it.
Yeah.
So
on that note, we'll take a quick break here. We'll be right back. This is press conference. Don't go away.
For regular news checks as they unfold. 2020 news, all day, all the time. Politics, sports, entertainment, business, and more. 2020 news. We bring you the world in 20 minutes.
And that's all the news in 20 minutes.
Citi TV is live. Citi TV is a free-to-air digital channel. On a digital TV, please press menu on your remote control and run a news search on your TV. Take note that without an antenna, you cannot access Citi TV on your television. Citi TV can be accessed on a multi-TV digibox. Tune into Citi TV and experience your world. Citi TV, it's your world.
Welcome back to press conference on Citi TV. Just before we went on that break, we were discussing the fresh push for an RTI law in the country. Now let's move on to the Ghana Maritime Authority. Incidentally, their national headquarters is not so far away from the Parliament of Ghana. So from Parliament, we're moving to the Ghana Maritime Authority. There's been some allegations about the use of $1 million Ghana cedis for the renovation of a 2-bedroom quarters or bungalow for the Director General, the spending of some 135,000 on an end-of-year party, and 10,000 Ghana cedis on lunch, and other interesting expenditure items that have come up at the Ghana Maritime Authority. But Kwame Owusu, who is the Director General of the Ghana Maritime Authority, a chartered accountant by training, in the course of the week called a press conference and explained to Ghanaians the justification for these expenditure. Let's have a look at this report.
Referring to these documents, the director of the Ghana Maritime Authority was confident of setting records straight while demystifying claims of misappropriation leveled against him. He has been accused of financial misappropriation and conflict of interest in the issuance of contracts. With support from other management members and workers of the Ghana Maritime Authority, Mr. Asiedu reacted to the allegations against his office.
There is a conflict of interest when you are an official manning an organization and you do not disclose. The Director General is the chairman of the Luxury Hotel, as it's been put all over the place, I'm a 25% shareholder. For the purposes of control, shareholding is held by my family, so I can say I am 100% shareholder. This has been disclosed to the management. The board has approved that provided management see that the cost of acquiring food services from that institution is the value for money.
He also explained circumstances surrounding funds used for the alleged dinner parties and the renovation of a 2-bedroom apartment for himself with 1 million Ghana cedis.
The amount of money and meetings that took place, that is backed by our records in the file, that has all the things that is supported for those who want to come and see it. The original is here. And there is no 8 participants. So the person who gave or stole the documents was only doing it as a matter of mischief. That building is now made out of 4 bedrooms on the main structure, the main house. A living room, a dining room, kitchen, a family room, a library, and a basement. That is the main structure. We also have a guest house, which should be fit a director general for that matter.
That's the under fire director general of the Ghana Maritime Authority. His name is Kwame also.
Are you sure he's under fire?
He
doesn't sound like somebody who is under fire.
He's, taking it cool, calm, and easy. But if you look at the reaction on social media, the reaction from some politicians on the other side, and all of that,
he's been actually emboldened. I'm telling you.
But is this justifiable?
Well, I think it is totally unacceptable, regardless of whichever perspective you want to look at it from. And let me start off by saying that the posturing of this government, a government that rode on the back of anti-corruption to come to power, they are posturing, right from the onset. We've seen a number of suspected cases of corruption in this country. And I think the handling has not gone enough to actually discourage people from exercising caution when spending public funds, and I think that is the same thing that is happening. You spend over 10,000 cedis on lunch. Concerns are being raised by Ghanaians, by ordinary people, and you feel that you can organize a press conference and describe whatever that is being said as rubbish.
Well, he said it was for 17, not 8.
No, I haven't even quoted the number. But for you to say that whatever that is being said is rubbish. And you see, the transport minister is calling for an investigation, and it is directing the board, which we are told approved this expenditure, to conduct investigation into the case. So it tells you that at the end of the day, it is going to be the same thing. Okay, so after investigating, we actually established that there was no wrongdoing.
But Ridwan, we've had arguments that this is a gentleman who has come and has turned around the Maritime Authority. In previous years, there also was an organization that was running.
So we need to encourage opulence. We need to encourage profligacy. Is that what you're saying? Well, if at the end of the day, the Maritime Authority is efficient and it is generating a lot of revenue, that should trickle down to the lives of the ordinary Ghanaian.
Again, it's been said that this is an organization where the Director General in past dispensations paid $5,000 as rent, and he's put in place a permanent structure which is going to be used by people after him. This is somebody who is obviously legacy-minded, as somebody would say. Is anything really wrong with the root of some of the decisions he's taking?
Well, I think that is even an area that I would not want to go into. But the area that I'm interested in is the conflict of interest bit, which he seeks to whittle away. I think that we need to investigate. We need an independent body to investigate all this issue. And even to think that the former Dencho Obwasi MC is part of the Maritime Authority.
Yes, he's one of the deputies.
Yeah, you see, we need an independent body to actually investigate this issue so that we will see closure. Else, if we want to agree with the Transport Ministry that the board itself should investigate this matter, we would achieve nothing out of it. And you see, Duke, we are not appreciating this problem or this issue in terms of the fact that there are a lot of rural areas in this country that are in dire need. People are drinking contaminated water. People don't have places of convenience. And so if at the end of the day, the little resources that we have, we are prudently managing them, we would be able to support the deprived communities. And I'm sure somebody like the Director General of the Maritime Authority is not looking at things from that perspective. I mean, he talks about 11 air conditioners not being enough for his apartment, and so he needs 13
yes.
You know,
and that if you don't understand it, it amounts to mediocrity.
Yes, and you see, it doesn't make any sense at all. I think we need to get to a point where every public official will feel that I owe the Ghanaian a duty to prudently manage the resources that I have been given, so that a lot more will be available to take care of those in areas that have been cut off in this country.
Sixtus, there's something which he said at the press conference which has got me thinking. He said that even what he's enjoying as Director General of Maritime Authority, it's not even up to the standard. And that there are other CEOs who have official residences and have guest houses for entertainment.
You know,
is this not symptomatic of,
that got me thinking
whole culture?
Too. And I keep telling myself, look,
state-owned
that should be the next line of the development of this
the
particular
last
story.
state-owned enterprises report we saw from the Finance Ministry, only a few state-owned enterprises are doing quite well, and they're even above par.
Duke, we need an overhaul, simply put. I can't imagine that a Director General of any state institution, it doesn't matter the status or how relevant this particular state institution is to us. I can't imagine that you are enjoying the things Kwame also talks about, plus more, and there's nothing wrong with it. Let's start with the question of the guest house.
Yeah.
If we think that our Director Generals, our CEOs are so important people or personalities that they receive visitors or guests every now and then, they can't go and put them up in any 4x9 guest house anywhere. And we think that we need a guest house for the purpose. Let us put up such, commercialize them, so that even though they are being used for such purposes, we are still deriving some revenues from them. And all of that can even add up to the IGF of these state institutions.
Yes, true.
If we don't do that, then it means that we are just pumping monies into the sea. Individuals come, they are sorted out, they move out, then we replace them. I mean, even if we fire, if Mr. Kwame also is fired today, what does it change? Whoever is taking over, will the person not still enjoy the same conditions? Is the person not going to live in that same house? Will the number of air conditioners reduce? Will the number of bedrooms reduce? No. So it's about a certain standard that we have to set for ourselves. I mean, yes, you are DG. Does that mean we are taking care of your entire extended family? 4-bedroom apartment for a DG, it's not your private house. So even if you have that building, that 4-bedroom apartment, what do you need a guest house for again?
Yeah.
What do you need it for?
So for you, the measures that are being taken are not enough. Obviously, the board having to investigate its own decision is...
It's a no-no. It's a no. I mean, I don't know why the transport minister even mentioned that. Why, to get us clapping for him, for the ministry? No.
Well, what's the way out?
We need an
independent body, investigative body.
There's the State Enterprises Commission headed by Asamoah Boateng.
Yeah. Forget it.
That's supposed to be looking at some of these things.
Forget it.
Because if I catch the drift of what you are saying,
this should be the beginning.
This should be the beginning of a revolution in terms of the perks that are attached to these state-owned enterprise jobs, would they not be the bodies correctly suited to do this kind of reform?
But let's start from somewhere. Let's tackle this particular problem
with an
independent commission. Otherwise, Duke, we can bet.
Is that another
weeks,
we've seen how committees end up, and now people even call it committees. You know, is this another avenue for people to have committees?
If we want the system to evolve, if we want a change in the system, we must be able to take stock at every point and implement. So if some committee reports have not been implemented in the past, it shouldn't make us give up. We should use this as an opportunity to bring some sanity into the system. Yes, the State Enterprises Commission can do its thing, standardize the terms of conditions, living conditions of the DGs and CEOs and whoever state actor is within their purview. But this particular incident, we need serious investigation.
I will pick it from another angle, and it's got to do with appointments, how some of these appointments are made. Are you aware that this chief executive we're talking about has 2 passports with 2 different ages?
Yeah,
65 and 71, we're told. So in actual fact, he's not even supposed to hold public office, isn't it? So I have done a few checks to find out what exactly goes into such appointments, whether Public Services Commission or State Enterprises Commission getting, and when you get to that level, what are the things they look at, criteria in terms of your age. So right from word go, he's not even qualified to hold public office, but he's there. Let's put that one aside. My checks again indicates that you have a lot of them like that. One, because of
such persons may even be reappointed for a specific
task.
What we call tenure.
Yes, I am aware. So I'm saying that I have been told that some of them are occupying positions like that. They are acting because they need to subject themselves to those 2 authorities I've mentioned, Public Services Commission, State Enterprise Commission, for them to go through interview process. But because they know that they are not legally qualified to be in that position, they are holding themselves in acting positions. Put that one aside. Moving forward, you spoke about the fact that he has even increased his revenue flow. Or
yes, there's been from the information we have.
I have done my checks again.
For the first time, GMA was going to pay dividends at the end of the year to government.
I've also been told from my little investigations I've done from yesterday to today, the house or that environment is actually polarized, whether you like it or not.
Of course. Just as there's
politically polarized.
In our civil service.
So you have 2 factions already. Those who are supporting the previous one who is out, and those who are even supporting what he's doing now. And per my checks again, it is clear that the foundation was actually laid for him to raise this revenue you're talking about.
But just last year, they were negative.
It is, because foundation had already been raised. If you talk about some of the activities, you know.
So is that to say that he cannot even take credit for having turned around the organization?
So foundation has been laid, and there were attempts even to get Parliament to even endorse the move to even increase the gross tonnage in terms of the payments, 50 cents to about 300%, I'm told, that he's collecting now, which he defended. And that green light was given to him. So he's collecting. So obviously he's making money. So when he turns around again to make it look like, well, I'm bringing money, so I need to spend. Look, let me tell you, don't we know how much a 3-bedroom house costs in this country? We have an idea. So even if you are renovating a 2-bedroom house into a 4-bedroom house, must we spend close to $1 million Ghana cedis or more than $1 million Ghana cedis for you even to justify?
It depends on the area too. Well, but he didn't. But cantonments is a prime area, but of course the land is not part of the cost, from what I gather.
It is, because it's worked through state agencies to get the property, works and housing, PWD to get the property and all. But like Ridwan said, there are other concerns that sometimes people will give such responsibilities to hold public office must also consider. You understand? You are holding in trust for the state an opportunity you have been given to manage. What do you do? And then we hear, then you justify why you have to organize 135,000 CD worth of end of year party. When I checked, they said, oh, has that been done before? He said it. Don't forget that he said that it has never been done before. But per my checks, it has been done before. But subsequently, all the workers have accepted that they would rather go for what? Cash.
They don't want the
And
party.
they don't want the party. So he has
the money
no
is
right.
huge. Of course, I mean,
you understand? He has no right to even tell us that it has
mathematics.
never happened before because they have been given the option. Which way do you want to go? And they suggest that look, and I'm told that look, if you have a car and you drive to work on that day, your boot is full, plus 15% of your salary as bonus.
That's motivation.
Exactly. Let's do the cost-benefit analysis.
Well, it's a state organization.
Exactly. How many state organizations? But they raking in so much money. They do a lot of work. They certify seafarers. They even port programs. Look, all the foreign vessels that come in, they pay some charges because they need to make sure that they are seaworthy and also make sure that they examine their certificates and make sure they are operating within standards and regulations of our country.
Cecil, there are
So they make money.
There are institutions that I would call institutions like Cocoa Board, GMPC, Ghana Maritime Authority, institutions where the things that they deal with is essentially money.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go by Lee Kuan Yew's argument of incentivizing people in such institutions so that you can attract top brains, if we bring the level to a certain level downwards, are we going to attract the right kind of talent to
it's
manage
a very
these
good point.
GMPC
Are you saying
and
you
things like that?
an 11 air conditioner room to be able to attract the top brains?
I'm talking about all the other perks.
That even leads me to another question.
And conditions of service.
And I'm sure Sixtus will move into that. He's a legal person. Look, I ask the Attorney General's Department, Ministry of Justice, have you ever seen an appointment to that office? A teacher, a farmer?
That's what
a journalist.
It's a job. I mean,
it's a job.
It's a job, at least per convention in this country.
That's
reserved
argument.
for.
So there are certain technical environments, work environments, where sometimes I expect that you must have technical people to work there. Look, a lot of work has been done in the past for this organization I'm talking about. The laws. Look, at the time we struck oil, we did not have enough laws. Don't forget. Consultants were brought from outside. Local experts were used to develop even the recent boundary disputes we had with Côte d'Ivoire. You know how it came about? Where was he, this chief executive? Where was he? He was nowhere in the picture. A lot of work was done to even determine our exclusive zones and all. And eventually, favor came smiling at us. You understand? So a lot of work, even developing a pollution law for the oil sector was done. Where was he? Experts did it. But this is an accountant. I'm not saying that he's not qualified to hold
he's a management
his position
consultant as well.
Exactly. But I'm not saying that. I'm not doubting
he's worked for 3 out of the 4 big accounting firms.
No, but these are accounting firms. This is a maritime industry.
Management.
Is a money. Anyway, sometimes you need to look at some of these things.
But for you, how should this end?
You see,
are the cause for his removal justified? And that's the question I'll ask each and every one of you before we move to the last topic.
Look, he's not the only person. There are quite a number of them.
It's a cabal
holding public office.
Oh, okay.
And they are doing it because of what we have heard, that it is because of their support towards we must discourage this. That somebody has funded political activity, so it is time for some of them to be appointed into office. Look, have you forgotten just recently? Precious minerals. Didn't you hear their workers up against their chief executive? And all the shoddy deals and contracts going on. Can I go on to mention a few other institutions?
Well, but
they are there.
It looks
people
like
are complaining.
For
so like
issue.
Ridwan even mentioned, these are genuine concerns that we have to look at. Immediately boards get into office, then they increase their sitting allowance to 700%. My God, what job at all are they doing? What job, what business are they doing? You increase your board sitting allowance to 700%, and then your transport TNT is about 5,000 Ghana cedis. When your company is bleeding, they lack resources to work, the logistics to work.
Well, there are companies. Well, there are companies that I mean were in a loss, but still some of their CEOs were taking $20,000 a month and all of that. But that's not justifiable anyway. So we are still looking at how this matter will end. It's a developing story. Pressure is mounting. The minority is calling for the head of the gentleman in question. They want the president sacked. There's also considerable pressure on social media, especially the comment about the 11 aces not being enough and he wanting 13 in his bank. Well, this is press conference. We'll be right back after this break.
in tune to the Breakfast Daily on Citi TV. Stoneboy says so. Keep it locked. Don't log off.
We spice up your mornings with culturally enriched conversations, social interviews, and policy-oriented discussions that will keep you updated on the progress of the nation.
And that is the reason I was making the point to him that I refrained from responding to this Joyce Bauer statement. Because if some citizens have accused President Mahama of diverting a certain amount of money, deal with that, deny him, and move on with your life.
Join the Breakfast Daily team Monday through Fridays from 7:30 a.m. to 10. Let your voice be heard with the hashtag Breakfast Daily. Join us for breakfast daily, only on Citi TV.
Tune in to The Point of View, Mondays and Wednesdays at 9 p.m. as Bernard Avlet takes the news further. He will bring the right guest, ask them the relevant questions, and get you the real insights you need on the big stories for the day.
I said, property tax, I will pay. If you come to my house, I'll cut you a check. But when did I do my presentation? February.
Yes.
Or February, yes, sometime. Nobody has come to my house.
Really?
Ghana is broke. And, that's the reality we must all come to live with.
The Point of View with Bernard Avlet, Monday and Wednesday nights, only on Citi TV.
Welcome back to Press Conference on Citi TV. My name is Duke Mensah Opoku. Thanks for watching. And we'll be moving to our third topic. But before that, Ridwan and Sixtus will have a last bite on the maritime issue, and then we'll wrap up.
Okay. But first and foremost, I want to know whether the procurement minister is in the country.
Yeah.
If she's
I saw her in Parliament
program,
last week.
Okay. If she's watching the program, I want to say good evening to her. And I want to conclude by saying that, fine, people have their own reasons to say that he should be fired. But I also think that we have to allow the investigations or the processes to work. If at the end of the day it is established that he misconducted himself, in terms of how he spent the money, then of course the law will take its course. I don't think that the president or whoever appointed him should bow to pressure and say that, okay, he needs to be sacked. We need an independent body to investigate. The investigation that the Transport Ministry wants the board to do, I'm sure will not have the quality that we expect. We need an independent body to investigate, establish that indeed he misconducted himself. Then the appropriate sanctions could be applied.
I think it's about the same views we share on this. Just except to say that, people are angry. They've become so emotional about this, righteously incensed by the arrogant and belligerent press conference he organized. I don't know who advised him to address that press conference. You see,
and he was attacking journalists.
Yes.
His best foot
forward.
Attacking, calling
I think he needs to employ us to do PR for him.
Oh yeah, he needs.
So you see how we waste more money.
I dissociate myself from this comment.
But
now we're just on the side.
I would have said, well, we've seen similar instances in the country.
Yeah.
People have been asked to step aside. They were never recalled. We never even had the records of those investigations. This is no different. But you see, minded that I'm a student of the law and should believe in due process and all of that, I think that, yes, I will agree with Ridwan. We need some investigation into it. But if it's that investigation being done by the board, then the president should go ahead and fire him.
Okay, so
let me quickly support this point. Regarding conflict of interest issues, I think something must be done about the processes that must follow. And you know what I like FIFA? Let me just chip in this one quickly. I like FIFA. In spite of all the challenges they have, corruption, you mentioned, the deals, all, they have a body that is able to adjudicate and then determine who is corrupt, and then they flash you out. Independent.
Well, talking about FIFA, Nyanchechi was also in the news. If we have some time, maybe we'll touch on that briefly. But let me read some of your comments. This one coming in from Tikuzemi Shaka says, RTI bill makes government too exposed. Go and check what Tony Bless said about it. With your politicians who are exposing it, well, what do you expect what do you expect their politicians? This one from Abdurrauf Gaddafi, you just say it's marvelous.
Yes.
And then Kwesi Asumani Jr. says his posture is very arrogant. I'm sure you're referring to Mr. Kwame. So this one from Banja Kunate says 11 aces in your room. Why? Is it a mock? This one from Houston Emmanuel says Cecil Obodai is on fire. Good to see him on TV. Let's move on to our university campuses now. First in Kumasi and then to Winneba. So far, the KNUST governing board has not been reconstituted. It looks like that is what all the parties are looking for, to so that the school can reopen on the 8th of November after it was closed down following disturbances. At Winneba also, there was a ruling by the Supreme Court just in the past week that an earlier ruling by the Winneba High Court should be overturned, which may have consequences for some of the things that are going on there. Let us go to the KNUST first.
We have had information that as we speak now, the government has not submitted its representatives as to why it's halting the whole process. But we just had a meeting with the registrar of the university, the union leaders, including alumni and student leaders, the TU and the UTAC. You understand, with the convocation, clerk of convocation. And registrar told us that Minister Yanka, in charge of Treasury, want to speak to us on radio conference call. Then Minister Yanka is saying that we should change our members on the council and bring a new one. A situation the entire unions have resisted and rejected, that it can never happen, because we as a union do not tell government who should come. So if government is tired with those representing it on council, then the government has a liberty, you understand, and freedom to do or to take them off, but not telling the union to equally do the same. Then we also informed the minister that can he give us one reason why he is saying that we should do that, we should go by that way. He was unable. And we also asked him, will it be possible for us to also suggest to him, the minister, to go to any of the constituencies in Ashanti region to pick any MPP?
The other labor unions are not happy. They think that government is trying to gag them to change their members on that board. I begin with you, Sixtus. And the matters in our tertiary institutions.
That's the part I don't get. Because we don't have much time, I'll just go straight to the point. I don't know why government would want to dictate.
If it's a reconstitution,
forget the word.
New people.
No, forget the word.
And I hear there was some sort of agreement at the meeting that they will change their members.
Some of the members on the governing council are there by virtue of a particular position. So let's assume that the local UTAC president is on the council by virtue of his position as the local UTAC president. Are we saying that UTAC should organize elections, get a different person to come, or UTAC should get an ex officio rep, to represent them on the council? I mean, if government is not satisfied with its representation on the council, government should change. If any other stakeholder within a space is not satisfied with its reps on the council, then they can change. But this thing about we have changed ours, also change yours, I don't see it. I mean, is it a question of a moral principle? Is it what's the justification for that? And I would be surprised if the various stakeholders agree to this in a closed door meeting, only to come out and cry wolf. It's really not. It's a no.
UEW.
No. UEW, I think that it's about time we saw an end to the crisis. I mean, it's retarding academic work, whether we like it or not. So yes, by the judgment of the Supreme Court, we may even see the parties going back to court.
Yes.
But let us pray that the parties will just let it be. I don't see Professor Avoke going back as VC.
Being reinstated as he was.
No, I don't. And I don't even think he himself would want to go back. You just look at it this way. Even if any court in this land says that you were wrongfully dismissed and so be reinstated, and you go back there, are you going to get the cooperation of the senior staff? Are you going to get the cooperation of the other members again? How are you going to work? So the best that may come out of it for him would be some compensation for him to retire on his benefits, whatever is due him be given him. But I think that it's dragged too long. Yes, the other parties have described it as an interference of political forces. Others have looked at this as a tribal war. I think all of that should cease. It's gone way too long.
Cecil.
Yep. I will not talk much about KNUST because I've had the opportunity a number of times on my show to condemn all the actors, university authorities, the handlers, police, the military, and even extensively the students have condemned them. Because I know globally what's happening is students are contesting with their minds.
Yes.
You know, identifying problems and solutions that will solve problems of our time. And I think for KNUST, citadel of knowledge like this, I expect exactly that we have challenges. Look at the way filth has engulfed us. Look at the way, I can go on and on, open defecation. What I expect students to engage, you know, in that mind contest than to take the law into their hands and say we are, because our authorities did that and that. Moving on to UEW. Look,
but if there's no peace on campus,
let's go to UEW.
I've condemned the handlers, the authorities, the way they went about
let's
it
go to UEW.
Was not necessary. Good. Now, I am taking encouragement from the 38th General Meeting of the Association of Judges and Magistrates when the Chief Justice cited sloppy judgments on the part of some judges. You understand? And from what happened at Winneba, it's a clear indication that...
You think that was a sloppy judge?
Of course! But the Supreme Court ruled, they tried the case and said you didn't apply the fundamental principles. He's a student of law. The fundamental principles. Natural justice requires that you engage all parties and listen to them. Why didn't the judge do that?
Okay.
And Ridwan.
Well, I think Sixtus talked about the fact that the man might not be reinstated, the GC. But I think that is not the crux of the issue. The crux of the issue is that he's been accused of some procurement breaches. And so definitely he needs to clear his name. And so a lot of suggestions have come up that the High Court is likely to start all over again. I don't know if that is what the next line of action will be.
It's a possibility.
And
depending on what the lawyers decide to do, the parties decide.
No, the parties themselves, depending on what instructions they give their lawyers.
Okay. And so I think that is very important, that the man clears his name and hopefully he is able to move on.
Okay, so that's how we draw down the curtains on press conference tonight. Joining me tonight to do the discussions, I had Cecil Wentum, host, Breakfast Drive on Uniq FM, that's the GBC radio station in Accra. And next to him is Sixtus Ullo. He's a broadcast journalist here at Citi FM and Citi TV. He's a producer of award-winning Eyewitness News. And Ridwan, Karim, Dini, Osman of GH1, co-host for GH Today. That's the morning show on GH1 TV. But Citi TV is live. Are you watching? That's the latest campaign. Citi FM turns 14 tomorrow. So, of course, we're in the celebratory mood. And past the RTI road now. But keep watching Citi TV. My name is Duke Mensah Opoku. Good night.